Mind reading is no longer a fantasy. We can actually do that now, and the secret sauce is artificial intelligence.
Researchers have used AI to translate brain scans into text.
Professor Helen Zhao and a team of researchers say artificial intelligence is letting them see, well, a version of our thoughts.
In 2054, something big is happening in the United States. A brand new police force is on the scene, but this isn't your ordinary squad. They're not just nabbing the bad guys after they've done the deed. This unit is diving headfirst into the world of pre-crime. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? Knowing what crimes someone will commit before they even do them. It's like living in a world where safety and order clash with government surveillance and control. But wait a minute, is this just fiction, or could it become our reality? Let's fast forward to today, where things are getting even more mind-bending. Scientists have cracked open the door to our thoughts, quite literally. At the University of Texas, some brainiacs have come up with a gadget called a semantic decoder. Sounds fancy, right? Well, it's a device straight out of sci-fi. Imagine reading someone's mind by translating their brainwaves into words. Crazy, right? And guess what? This isn't just happening in some lab in UT Austin. Meta, the giant social media company, is in on the action too. They've cooked up an AI system that can peek into your brain and figure out what you're looking at in real time. It's like telepathy, but with a high-tech twist. You might be thinking, cool, but isn't this a total privacy nightmare? And yeah, you've got a point. But let's not forget the flip side. Imagine the possibilities for folks who can't speak because of sickness or injury. These mind-reading gizmos could be a game-changer for them. It's a brave new world out there, folks. We might not be cruising down the same road as Minority Report just yet, but we're definitely headed in that direction. So buckle up, because we're about to take a deep dive into the wild world of mind-reading tech. First, we'll explore what those brainy scholars at UT have been up to. Then, we'll unravel the mystery of Meta's mind-reading machine. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. How does it work? Scientists at the University of Texas at Austin have made a huge leap with AI. They figured out a way to turn the jumble of thoughts in our brains into actual spoken words. It's like magic, but with science. In the past, researchers had to get pretty invasive to understand what was going on in our heads. They'd stick electrodes into people's brains and use fancy algorithms to read their thoughts. But that meant surgery, and not everyone was up for that. So they tried other methods, but those could only decode basic stuff, like when we're tired or saying short phrases. Now, though, they've cracked it. They've created a brain-computer interface, BCI, that doesn't need any surgery. This thing can understand what we're thinking without us even saying a word. So, how does it work? It's like a marriage between two cool technologies, fMRI scans and big AI language models. The fMRI scans track the blood flow in our brains while we listen to stories. Then, the AI models kick in, associating phrases with how our brains react to them. But here's the tricky part. There are a gazillion different ways we could say something, and most of them would sound like nonsense. So, they brought in another AI model, GPT-1, to help narrow down the options and predict what words are most likely to come next. The result? A decoder that can understand the general idea of what we're thinking, even if it doesn't get every single word right. It's like when you're telling a story and someone fills in the blanks. They might not get every detail, but they get the gist of it. For example, if you were thinking, I hope my wife texts me to say she's coming home, the decoder might spit out something like, I thought she'd come back and tell me she missed me. It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. Or if you were thinking about someone skateboarding towards you really fast, the decoder might interpret it as, he tried to get to me but ended up driving into my lane. Again, not word for word, but you get the idea. This breakthrough is huge. It's way better than anything we've had before, but it also brings up some big questions about ethics. After all, being able to read someone's mind raises all sorts of concerns about privacy and consent. But for now, let's just marvel at the incredible possibilities of science. The mind-bending world of brain-computer interfaces, BCIs, is no longer confined to science fiction. Believe it or not, this technology is now a reality, and it's not just something you'd read about in a novel by Neil Stephenson or William Gibson. It's actually changing lives as we speak. For the past 12 years, some remarkable advancements have been made. People who were once paralyzed have received brain implants that allow them to control computers or robotic arms using only their thoughts. This breakthrough has opened doors for many who thought they'd never regain control over their movements. Meta's AI Mind Reader. Now, big names like Mark Zuckerberg's Meta are diving even deeper into the realm of BCIs. On October 18, 2023, Meta took a big step forward in research. Instead of using fMRI, which gives one data point every few seconds, they used MEEG technology. This type of tech can capture thousands of brain activity measurements every second. With this, they made an AI system that can understand what the brain sees. This system works in real time. It takes brain activity and reconstructs the images the brain is processing. It's pretty mind-blowing stuff, right? The AI system has three main parts: an image encoder, a brain encoder, and an image decoder. They trained the AI using data from MEG recordings of healthy volunteers. They found that the brain signals match up well with modern computer vision AI systems. What's interesting is that this AI learned on its own. It wasn't taught by humans. Meta says this self-supervised learning helps AI systems understand the brain better. The artificial neurons in the AI behave similarly to neurons in our brains when shown the same images. This means the AI can create images that match what a person is seeing in a scanner. On one side, you have the original image shown to the person. On the other side, you have what the AI thinks the person sees. And get this, the AI figures this out just from the brainwaves. It doesn't know what the person is actually looking at. The resulting images might not be perfect, but they give a good idea of what's happening in the brain. Meta believes this research will lead to AI systems that can learn and think like humans. It's pretty exciting to think about how far we've come, isn't it? However, we're not quite there yet with non-invasive BCIs you can carry around. After all, you can't exactly tote around a multi-million-dollar fMRI machine. However, researchers are optimistic that techniques used in studies like the one mentioned earlier could eventually be adapted for more portable systems. These systems might use something like functional near-infrared spectroscopy, FNIRS, which can measure brain activity like fMRI but with a lower resolution. Future of AI mind reading. But here's where things get tricky. With great power comes great responsibility, right? The ethical implications of this technology are staggering. First off, our brains are the ultimate privacy zone. They hold our deepest thoughts and most personal information. What does that mean for our autonomy if someone else can access that without our consent? Imagine a world where companies have access to your brain data. They could use it to manipulate you into buying things you didn't even know you wanted. This isn't just a far-off possibility, it's already happening in the field of neuromarketing, where advertisers study how our brains react to commercials to tailor their ads. And it's not just companies we need to worry about. What if governments or law enforcement agencies start using BCIs for surveillance or interrogation? It could completely undermine our rights, like the principle against self-incrimination. Some experts argue that we need new laws to protect us from the potential misuse of this technology. They believe that before BCIs become widespread, we should have safeguards in place to ensure our right to control our own thoughts and mental experiences. The authors of the study we discussed earlier are cautiously optimistic. They note that their decoder only worked with participants who cooperated willingly, and that those participants could disrupt the decoder's results if they chose to. But they also warn that future developments could bypass these safeguards and allow for malicious use of BCIs. Nita Farahani, author of The Battle for Your Brain, emphasizes the urgency of getting this right. She believes we're at a critical moment where we must decide how to protect our cognitive liberty, the right to control our brains, before it's too late. Scientists have created brain decoders using AI to understand human thoughts and create understandable language and images. Right now, it's mostly in labs. The machines are big and pricey, and teaching them takes a while. But like all tech, it's bound to improve. Sure, there are worries. Companies might misuse it, but for those with physical disabilities, it's a game changer. I'm intrigued by this, but what do you think? How will this shape our future? Is it good or bad to read minds? Should this tech exist at all? Let's chat about it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. That's a wrap. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe for more on AI tech news.